All right. Welcome back, everybody, to our review for Calculus AB, the AP test coming up here in May of 2026. I went over in the very first video about some of the framework in terms of what to expect when it comes down to the different test problems for the FRQs. What I want to do today is I want to show you, how quickly you need to be able to identify the type of problem and how they really are categorized into three different segments. Okay. So what I have here is I have the 2025, 2024, and the 2023 FRQs pulled up here. You should be able to go onto your AP Central on College Board and pull up these under the free test practice section that they have on there. These free response questions are from the last 3 years. And just like I had told you guys in the previous, just a quick review, there are three main versions or three main setups in terms of the the problems and what they're giving you. The first one is going to be the function. Okay, so what's important here is to be able to identify, are you in the regular function, the first derivative, or the second derivative? Most of the time, you're going to get the main function or the first derivative. Every once in a while, you'll get the acceleration function, that second derivative or so. The other two options that they can give you is they can give you a graph, right? In this situation, the graph, it's pretty easy to tell if they're going to be asking you a derivative type question or integral. So the integrals, usually they will show you area under the curve and ask you to define or defined it. The last but not least, we have a uh, data table. So in a lot of these situations, you will be using your mean value theorem, your intermediate value theorem, or you will be using your Riemann sums to determine what the area under the curve happens to be. Okay. So just to do that, again, number one, two, and three, function, graph, or data table. Very, very quickly in the first, we just went over some of these yesterday or in the previous video. Very first problem for calculus 2025. The first one here, you can see they gave you the function, right? They gave you the function and they gave you the derivative, which you need to be able to explain from. Number two, very quickly, easy. Area under the curve. In this one, we get to use dx because we have the upper function and the lower function being subtracted from each other. Number three, your data table. In this one in particular, they do ask you for area under the curve. One easy mistake to make is forgetting to multiply it by what the base distance happens to be. So here we have to understand that we are looking for, in this situation, a trapezoidal sum. So we'll be averaging out the two values and multiplying it by the distance between the two. Here's another graph type of problem. In this situation, they will be asking you to explain, because here the function has this closed interval, and you are going to be looking for this in terms of the area under the curve from 6 to x. So from here to x, if you go from 6 to 8, you can see you're finding just that area under the curve, and looking for the derivative here, you got to be able to explain that as well. Another function type of problem. In this situation, the function, this is going to be a function that is a particle moving from left to right, and then they also give you velocity of it as well. This next one, the very, very last type of function that they do give you, usually you will expect at least one of these types of functions at some point. It's either going to be a implicit differentiation type of situation here, or every once in a while they will give you a slope field that you have to be able to do in that situation. All right, so over here, 2024, very first problem, another data table, right? Being able to find and approximate your mean value theorem, intermediate value theorem, explaining with that, and then again, another Riemann sum type of problem here. Another function that they given you, right? Polynomials in this situation, they gave you ln. Don't be afraid. They very likely will give you ln or e in some situations. So you have to be able to explain that. This one is another one where you have acceleration and velocity of a particle moving left to right. Slope fields. So again, being able to deal with your implicit differentiation and understanding what that means in your estimations from there. This one's easy. Area under the curve, they've already shaded it in, area of R underneath the curve. Being very careful with that, and especially if they do ask you to do any sort of rotations around a specific line or an axis, being ready for those equations as well. This one as well, another equation. As you can see, x and y are both mixed into it, so there will be some implicit differentiation to be used in here. In this one specifically, they are asking you for tangent lines, so being able to rewrite a tangent line in relation to a function. 2023, again, first thing you see, data table. I think the data tables are actually some of the easiest ones to do. You may have to familiarize yourself with them, but again, you do have at least three of them in here. Actually, technically, when you do go back into 23 a little bit deeper here, actually, they actually have a second one on number 5 for you to do as well. Let's go back. Number 2, another function. This one has sine, so you have to be careful with that. If you are lucky with it, they usually will put that in one of the first 2 problems. So you do get to use your calculator in this situation to make it easier. Be ready to input these equations and be able to solve for a derivative in your calculator in a very, very quick manner. Because again, this is a timed test. All right, every minute matters, and being able to give yourself some time to review and to look back upon these is also very important. Um, Keep in mind too, it is back and forth along a straight path. So in this situation, it's going to be, you know, along in a straight line, positive values or positive, uh, rate of change, positive velocity is going to the right, negative is going to be going to the left. Another slope field, as you can see, a little bit of implicit differentiation. These ones can be intimidating at first because I know most teachers save this for the very end of class, right before the test does happen. So it might be some of the newer material in your mind, but just be ready for them. They aren't as intimidating as they may seem at first. It is, usually just due to the fact that it's the newest material you've learned before the test. Another similar type of graph function, keep in mind too, here they're giving you the derivative function. So you have to be able to explain in terms of relative minimum, relative maximum. What are they looking for? They're looking for the original function. So critical points where they equal 0 and whether or not it goes from negative to positive. Just like I said, number 5, another data table for you to use here. Being able to understand. In this situation, it's a little bit different. It is the delivery of 2 different functions and being able to understand algebraically how you find your derivatives. Your chain rule, being able to write it out in terms of a polynomial and how it interprets into that derivative. There's a lot of plugging in, finding the next step, and then figuring out your answers from there. And the last but not least, number 6 on here, another implicit differentiation. And here you are looking for tangent lines and things like that to explain. All right. So when you do break down the test into the segments that you have, let me go into my other page right here. Showed this to you guys in the first video. But realistically, left side here is your derivatives, right side is your integrals. Derivatives, as you can see, we do apply mean value theorem, intermediate value theorem. Sometimes you'll see L'Hopital's rule or the squeeze theorem. In terms of integrals, it's a lot of times going to be Riemann sums and area under the curve. Okay, you do have to understand your algebra and your formulas, your power rule, product rule, quotient rule, chain rule, how to find your derivatives of your trig functions. If you're lucky, some of these will show up under your calculator section, so that can definitely help you out. But again, make sure you have those memorized and ready. We'll review them in our upcoming videos as well. In terms of our integrals, you have your area between two curves, making sure that you pick it in the right way. Is it going to be dx or dy, depending on where, you never want a curve to be subtracted from itself in order to find that area. So be careful there. U substitution, I like to think of that as the backwards version of a chain rule. And then any trigonometric identities, that's been fairly rare when it comes down to your integral section. Implicit differentiation for derivatives, as you were able to see, being able to find your derivatives and figure out related rates, tangent lines, horizontal lines, those types of explanations. But the majority of your explanation for your derivatives comes down to optimization. Maximum, minimums, concavity, and point of inflection. Remember, maximum minimums can be explained with concavity. That maximum minimum is your first derivative setting equal to zero. You can use your second derivative, your concavity, to determine if it's a max or min, or you can use and test out the numbers to the left and to the right, whether they're positive or negative to positive, left or, around that critical point. Cross sections, making sure you understand your three-dimensional area under the curve and what is being created from there, as well as volume. If there are any rotations, any of them being solid rotations, or if you create any washer slash donut type of situations, making sure that you have the correct formula set up for that. All right, that was a quick review and just a quick peek into the last 3 years of tests. And so you can see, if you haven't already tried tackling them, please go ahead and go into the AP Calculus website. AP Calculus website, AP Central College Board. You go in here under your AP courses and exams. Okay. Go into your math and computer science, AP Calculus AB. Under the exam, you have down here, oh, actually, it should be under classroom resources. Where is it? Oh, the exam. There we go. Calculus AB, the exam. Yeah, that was where it was. You do have some of the free booklets that they give you, but if you go far down enough in here, you do have Calculus AB exam questions, FRQs. You have these expandable ones down here where you can go and check out each of these PDFs that they have to share for you. In addition to, we will be going through the scoring guidelines because as much as you might be able to answer the questions that they give you, we have to make sure, and I'm going to go through this with you guys in the next video, the scoring guidelines. What exactly are they looking for you to answer? For example, for every single problem, there usually is going to be a setup of the problem and then solving for it, giving you 2 points total, right? So you could get the right answer, but if you do not set up or show the work that you're putting together, they'll actually take off half of those points from you. So I want you guys to be ready for this. I know the test is a little bit over a month away from now, but if you stick with these lessons that I'm outputting for you guys, I'm more than certain that you should be able to pass this test with flying colors. If you do have additional questions or want to message me, you can go ahead and message on the YouTube, or you can go ahead and give me a text over at 858-668-8248 for exclusive tutoring San Diego. Even if you're not here in San Diego, we can still do an online session and help you get ready for this test and figure out where you're struggling in the class so that we can get you that passing score on your AP test and your class. All right, that's all I had for you guys today. Again, go into your AP Central, at the very least, try out these problems. If you finish a full test and you're still not getting the full full understanding and the scoring correctly, let us know, and we're more than happy to help you guys out with that. All right, I'll see you guys in the very next one, and we'll keep working on getting ready for this upcoming test.